Tonight's class is going to be just a nice, gentle, easy flow, low energy, just kind of staying near the ground in a grounded practice. So hopefully you find some nice peace and groundedness throughout this flow together. We are going to start laying down, so I'd like to invite you to find your cozy resting position and we will get started there. So take your time. If you prefer to sit, by all means feel free to do so, but I'll be guiding our intro meditation laying down. Once you lay down, feel free to either have the feet flat on the ground or legs extended or really anything that just feels cozy for you. Hands can be somewhere on the body or by your sides. And if it feels comfortable, gently draw your eyes closed. And we'll take the next couple of moments to truly allow ourselves to arrive here and now, to grant ourselves permission to be in this moment. Take a moment to simply check in and notice how you feel right now. Bring your awareness to your mind, to your body, to your emotional well-being, and simply the energy within and around you, and just establish how you feel, become aware. There's no good, bad, right or wrong. It simply is, simply your being right now. So let go of any sorts of judgment. And take a moment to release and let go of everything that you've done today and possibly even this week. All of that is over. It is in the past now. There is nothing to do anymore. And take a moment to release as well any attachment to the future. That whole to-do list, everything that might be stacking up, everything has its time and place. It will be completed, but now's not the time for it. So let it go as best you can. You've shown up, you've arrived. Give yourself permission to be here now. Now is not the time for the future or the past, it's to simply be. Allow your body to begin to rest down towards the ground beneath you, sinking the body down like a pebble or a rock floating down to the bottom of a riverbed through the water. Allow the back of the head to rest easily. The shoulders melt towards the ground. As the hips soften, the feet and legs fall heavy. Relax the jaw, soften your face. Allow the eyes to sink back towards the skull. And begin to tune in towards your breath. The peaceful oasis that is always here for you. Can you find your way to feeling the breath in your body? Feel the wave, the ripple of the inhales and exhales within. And tune into the feeling, the energetic quality, the spirit behind the breath. Allow the mind to melt towards the body as you simply feel yourself breathe. There's nothing to do but to simply be with your breath right now. Maybe you exaggerate the inhales and exhales, really filling the lungs, allowing the mind and body to become oxygenated. Or you can simply continue to breathe naturally. Find what feels good for you in this moment. Continue to feel the breath in your body. And whenever your mind wants to take you away from the breath, That's okay, that's expected. We're not here to turn the mind off. We're simply here to be with what is. Find your way back to the oasis of the breath. So once you notice the mind becoming distracted, simply come on back to feeling the breath in your body. That's all you have to do right now. Take a couple of more moments to establish the connection between the mind and the body through the breath. Continuing to return to the feeling of the breath in the body whenever the mind drifts away. If you'd like to stay simply resting on your mat, feeling the breath within, please feel free to do so. Tonight, this practice is for you. Please listen to your body and give yourself whatever you need most. Everything in this class is simply a suggestion. You know what's best for you. If you'd like to begin to flow, follow an inhale to stretch the arms up overhead, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the room, and then reach the toes towards the front of your mat, full body stretch. On an exhale, gently hug the knees in towards you and wrap your arms around the legs. Feel free to stay perfectly still, or maybe you add a gentle rock side to side. Keep the mind's eye within the body. Allow yourself to check in and feel. Notice the body in this shape. And allow yourself to still be with the breath. We are going to start our first flow laying down on the mat just like we are. So when you're ready, on an exhale, if you're rocking, come back to center and then set the feet on the mat. So knees bent, feet come down, and then step the feet out wider than hips distance. Hands simply come by the sides with the palms face up. Big inhale here. And then on your next exhale, drop the knees over toward the left hand side, and they'll just kind of hang in space. Following your inhale, bring the knees to center, so flowing meditation here. Exhale, lower them over toward the right hand side. Inhale, slowly move up to center, synchronizing breath and body. Exhale, lower to the left. Pause once you get both knees toward the left hand side. So you can stay as you are. If this feels like too much, you can stack the knees one on top of another. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you'll lift up the left foot and place the outside of the left ankle on the outside of the right thigh. That'll pull that right knee down towards the mat and really exaggerate the stretch on the outside of the right thigh. But you determine where you want to go with this stretch right now. If you want to add a little neck stretch, maybe you turn the head looking over the right shoulder slightly. Relax your jaw and melt into whatever shape your body wants to be in right now. This practice is your peaceful oasis. Imagine as though you're on an island, a beautiful island, which is your practice. Let yourself be here. Let everything else go. Feel the breath in your body for a couple more rounds. Again, let yourself be with your breath. That is what you are here to do right now. One more full round of breath. And we'll begin to flow again. So on your next inhale, bring the knees back up to center. And then once your exhale arises, slowly lower toward the right hand side now. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the left. Move at your own pace. Inhale back to center. And then once you get to the right on your exhale, we'll pause there for a couple of breaths. So again, you can either stack both the knees, you can stay as you are, or place the outside of the right ankle on the outside of the left thigh now to exaggerate the stretch. Maybe you look over the left shoulder here, adding a gentle neck stretch, but play around with it. Find what works in your body. Continue to breathe deeply and feel the breath within. Allow the mind to be held by every inhale and exhale. Relax the jaw and soften your shoulders. Breathe deeply. We'll hold here for a couple more rounds of breath. Allow yourself to enjoy the goodness of this shape here and now. One more full round of breath. And on your next inhale, gently bring the knees back to center. Exhale, knees in towards the chest. We'll move to a gentle version of Happy Baby. So option A is simply grabbing a hold of the knees and pulling the knees towards the side body. If this is enough of a hip stretch, you'll stay right here. If you want to move a little further, you can flex the feet and lift them up. Maybe you grab a hold on the back sides of the thighs. You can wrap around the ankles, or maybe hold around the outside edges of the feet if you're feeling open for full Happy Baby right now. So again, explore. Find the version that just feels really good for you right now. You can rock side to side if you'd like. Whichever version you go into, press the low back down towards the mat. Resist the lift of the hips to really access the full version of this posture. Allow the shoulders to soften. Relax the arms as much as possible. Keep this stretch to the lower body. Breathe through your hips. Feel the breath travel in and out of your being. Couple more rounds here. Take one more full breath. From here on your exhale, Badakanasana, butterfly legs. So insides of the feet touch, knees splay outwards, and you can hold on to the ankles, the lower legs, or wrap the hands around the feet. Heels drop in toward the pelvic region, and then press the knees towards the front of your mat. Again, find a bind where the shoulders are relaxed towards the mat beneath you, and allow the hips to just sink down towards the mat. Again, continue to breathe deeply. Let yourself just feel what it feels like, mind, body, and soul, to hold this shape. Allow yourself to simply be in your body right now. One more full breath. On your exhale, keep the butterfly legs, but release your bind, lowering the feet to the mat with butterfly legs. So the feet will rest down, the knees will now splay outwards towards the ground beneath you. Hands can rest on the inner thighs, on the belly, or simply down by your sides. Find what feels good for you here. And relax the hip flexors, the inner thighs, as much as you can, just allowing gravity to pull the knees towards the ground beneath you. So relax the legs, breathe deeply, soften the toes, the feet, melt your body down. Continue to simply feel what's going on in your body, to feel your breath, to be in your body. Take one more full round of breath here. And we'll close this flow with a full body stretch and then Apanasana, just like we opened. So on your next inhale, hands reach up overhead, pull the feet towards the front of the mat, full body stretch. Exhale, hug the knees back in towards you, pausing there, adding any type of movement you'd like. As you're here in Apanasana, knees to chest pose, I'll review the postures if you want to repeat this flow. If you want to do anything else, by all means feel free to do so. This is your time. If you'd like to proceed with this flow, we started this flow by placing the feet wide on the mat, knees bent. Hands were by the sides. We approach this like a moving meditation. We exhale to drop the knees over. Inhaled up and then exhaled to the opposite side. We did 3 rounds and then paused on the 3rd round wherever those knees landed. From there we did 3 more swaying side to side, pausing then on the opposite side. You can hold on as long as you'd like. You can do more sways or less, totally up to you. After that, we've transitioned to happy baby, any version that feels good for you, whether that's just hugging the knees towards the side body or flexing the feet, grabbing a hold of the lower legs, the ankles, or the outside edges. Again, you can find whatever version feels good, add movement or stay still. Pause for a couple really big breaths, eventually transitioning to bound Badakanasana feet. So holding on to the outside edge of the feet or the lower legs with the heels drawing down towards the pelvic region. Again, pause for however long you'd like, and then finally lowering the feet in the same shape to the ground. After you held here, we completed the flow with a nice full body stretch on an inhale, and on an exhale, hug the knees in towards us. So again, as one last recap, it's the swaying the knees side to side, then pausing on each side. From there, we went to happy baby, Badakanasana, butterfly legs, holding them and then releasing them to the ground. So find what works for you right now. Take the next couple moments for yourself, and I'll be here to guide your awareness. And continue to flow with your breath. Feel your body in the shapes that you make. Feel the breath within. Allow yourself to simply be present, to be a witness within your body. That's all you have to do. Let yourself enjoy the stretches, enjoy the feeling within. Melt your body down and just surrender to every pose, softening the edges of your body and mind. Allow yourself to move slowly, to move consciously, synchronizing your movements with every inhale and exhale. Rather than moving through the flow with the goal to complete it, move through the flow with the goal to be present. Let go of the beginning and the end, but simply let yourself be in every posture. Let yourself linger in the postures for as long as you'd like. Let go of time and where you need to be, because right now is all there is. Notice if you can consciously soften areas of your body that may not be necessary to hold whatever shape you're in. Areas like the jaw, the shoulders, the extremities, toes and fingers. How can you soften even more? When we soften the body, the mind follows. So relax, relax, relax. Be with what is right now. Notice if you can slow down the pace of your breath, breathing fuller, intentional breaths, allowing yourself to feel into every part of your inhales and of your exhales. Feel into the goodness of the body, breathing. Allow yourself to be a witness of your mind throughout this practice. Let go of attachment to your thoughts. Watch them pass by like clouds floating through the sky. Release attachment. You are not your thoughts. Become a witness. Observe what's going on within your being. And continue to feel the breath in the body. Whenever you do complete this flow, feel free to either continue to move in ways that feel good for you, or to simply rest. Wherever you decide to go, stay in the body. There's nowhere else to be right now. Feel the breath within. If you're still flowing, feel free to do so. Move however it feels good for you. Also, if you would prefer to continue on your own path and do your own stretches, listen to your body tonight, honor yourself. If you'd like to move on to our second set of postures, our second flow for the evening, eventually roll over to one side and just pause there, rest for a couple of moments, and then slowly press yourself up to seated. So we've been laying down for a while, so move slowly to avoid any sort of head rush. Make your way up to seated. Maybe you take a couple breaths or two, check in. We'll eventually start our next flow in a child's pose. So again, take your time. If there's any stretches you'd like along the way, move slowly. Honor your body. We'll eventually meet in tabletop and then transition to child's pose. But again, take your time. You have all the time you need right now. If you're moving on to the next sequence and you're in child's pose right now, pause for a couple moments. How does this posture feel in your body? Where do you feel the breath as you breathe in this pose? Simply observe and notice what you feel. Relax the face and the jaw. Allow the shoulders to melt down the back body away from the neck and ears. Relax the thighs, the hips, and let yourself simply melt into this grounding pose. Breathe through the back body. We'll pause here for a couple more breaths, just enjoying this posture. So relax, let yourself just be here and now. Whenever your next inhale arises, gently and slowly press yourself up to hands and knees, tabletop position. Once you get to tabletop position, exhale and make sure those wrists are directly under the shoulders, knees are hips distance, fingertips spread wide, and press the ground away through the hands and the knees. Moving through a couple rounds of cat-cow. On your next inhale, belly drops down, heart pulls through, gaze goes up. Exhale, moving slowly, begin to round, lifting the shoulder blades. Again, inhale, belly button pulls towards the floor beneath you as you look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round, looking towards the knees, the thighs, or the belly button. Continue to move slowly with your breath. Inhaling to look up and exhaling, rounding, pressing the ground away. Flow with your own breath for a couple more rounds, and if you'd like to begin to move organically, feel free to do so. So maybe you kind of allow the hips to go back a bit or the shoulders forward of the wrists. Maybe you bring the shoulders towards the hip points, opening up the side body. Allow yourself to just move in ways that feel good, or simply stick with traditional cat-cow. Explore your spine and your back body, moving with your breath. And simply let yourself feel, again, the body. Be here and now. Couple more big breaths. And only when you're ready, follow an exhale to make your way back to child's pose, sinking the hips back towards the heels and draping the torso down towards the mat. And again, we'll pause here for a couple breaths, just feeling the effects of the cat-cow postures. Breathe again through the spine, inhaling, feeling the back body expand. And exhaling, feeling the body just relax towards the ground. Take a couple more big breaths and let yourself be here fully with the breath and the body. On your next inhale, gently make your way back up to tabletop position, hands and knees. Again, take your time, move slowly and consciously. Exhale, once you get to tabletop, wrists under shoulders, knees, hips distance. Moving to thread the needle now. On your next inhale, right hand lifts up all the way towards the ceiling. Exhale, hand brushes down and across, eventually setting the shoulder down and the side of the head down as well. Step the left hand out so the wrist is directly under the left elbow, and pause here for a couple breaths. Bring your awareness to the knees. If one knee feels a lot lighter than the other, shift the weight over toward that lighter knee to even it out. This will eventually square up the hips towards the front of your mat. Breathe deeply. Relax the shoulders down the back body, soften the jaw, and gently pull the belly button in towards the spine. Take a couple more big breaths here. One more breath. On your next inhale, press through your left hand, lift the right hand all the way up to the ceiling again. Reach tall. Exhale, right hand down to the mat. Same thing other side. Inhale, sweep that left hand tall. Exhale, slowly brushing down and across, setting the outside of the left shoulder down. And then setting the side of the head down, looking over toward those left fingertips. If you need to, step that right hand out towards the side so the wrist is directly under the bent elbow. And again, bring your awareness to the hips, to the knees. If one knee feels a lot lighter, just gently shift your way over towards that lighter knee, squaring up the hips. If you want to go a little deeper, you're going to press down through that right hand and press the back of the left hand and the back of the left arm down into the mat. That'll exaggerate the stretch within the shoulder blades. Keep pulling the shoulder blades down the back body and the low belly pulling in towards the spine, reducing any arching in the low back. And breathe deeply as you relax your jaw. Couple more big breaths here. You're doing great. And whenever your next inhale arises, press through that right hand, lift the left hand all the way up, reach tall. Exhale, hand down to the mat and make your way back to child's pose. Again, pause here for a couple breaths, breathe deeply and observe. How does your body feel after those poses? Maybe you notice the shoulder blades, the upper back. What do you feel? Breathe through it. We have one more posture in this flow. It's a chest and heart opener. We'll move slowly through it. So whenever your next inhale arises, gently make your way back up, tabletop position one more time. Exhale, again, step those hands in, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. So to start on your next exhale, so big inhale, exhale, begin to walk the hands out away from you. Now the goal here is to keep the hips over the knees as we transition to puppy pose. So you're going to keep walking the hands out. If you hit a point and you're like, that's all I need, then you're going to pause there. If you want to go a little bit further, you're going to slowly begin to lower the chest and the elbows down towards the mat. Now you might pause at a point that just feels like more than enough of a stretch, then you're going to stay there. Again, keeping the hips over the knees. If you're feeling like you're open and you want to go to the full version, then you'll set the chest down on the mat, maybe the forehead down. If you want to go a little further, you'll set the chin down as you look towards the hands. So find any variation that feels good for you right now, and we'll pause here to breathe deeply. Continue to press the fingertips down towards the mat and pull the shoulders down the back body. Let's take about 2 more big breaths. Relax the jaw. Soften your gaze. If your chest is on the mat, on your next inhale, begin to press through the elbows and hands to lift back up. And then exhale, begin to walk the hands back towards you and make your way to child's pose one last time. So sink those hips back to the heels and allow your body to drape down. For this final child's pose, you can have the arms extended out in front of you or bring the hands by the sides with the palms face up to relieve the shoulders and the upper back a bit after puppy pose. Take some big breaths. Again, observe how you feel. Let yourself be in your body. Observe the mind, the body, where you're at emotionally, and breathe. Stay as you are. Feel free to peek up at the screen if you want to move on with this flow again. I'll give a little recap for you. So for this flow, we did child's pose after every posture. So we started in child's pose, then we came up and we did cat-cow. So we inhale to look up and exhale to round. You can move organically. You can find whatever feels good in your body. Once you're done, simply come on back to child's pose to reset, to observe how you feel. Pause for as long as you'd like. After that, we did thread the needle. So we came on back up, reached up on an inhale, and on an exhale, threaded down. Pause for however long you'd like on each side, and then again, back to child's pose for a couple big breaths. Finally, we moved to puppy pose, so we came on up, and this time we walked the hands out in front of us, maybe pause there, maybe began to lower the chest or the face, the forehead, or chin down towards the mat. Walk those hands back, and again, child's pose one more time. So it's child's pose, little sandwich there. The first one was cat-cows, then thread the needle on each side, and then puppy pose with child's pose in between each of those. So feel free to explore all, none, or some of that. Take your time, listen to your body, and then we'll eventually meet up for the final flow of class. So proceed however you'd like. Imagine as though this practice is your peaceful oasis, your retreat back towards your inner light. Can you truly allow yourself to be on this island, to enjoy the goodness of the moment right now, to be with the way things are, exactly as they are? Feel your breath in the body, like wind blowing through tree branches. Allow your body to melt in whatever shape you put it in, just sinking down, surrendering to the moment. Let yourself simply be here and now, in your room, on your mat, in your body. Enjoy the full extent of your breath, of your body, of your practice. Let yourself be here and now. Rather than performing postures as a means to achieving anything, whether that's to get to a goal, to finish the flow, whatever it is, can you approach each posture as a place to be, to enjoy the moment in whatever shape you make, to feel the full extent of how your body feels in the shape, how your breath arrives and exits in the shape, what happens to your mind in the shape. Again, become a witness, observe, just let yourself be in the posture. Breathe deeply. Remember, there's nowhere you have to be right now. Nothing you have to do. Just listen to your body. Be with your breath. Let everything else go. Allow yourself the freedom to move organically. If at any point your body wants to take a different shape, to move in something totally different that may or may not even be a yoga pose, listen to it. Allow that intuitive light within to shine through and honor yourself, honor your body. Give yourself the freedom to explore and simply be. Let go of what you think the practice should look like. Your body knows exactly what it wants and where to go. Honor yourself in this moment right now. Notice where your mind is at and find your way to feeling the breath within. The mind will take you everywhere and anywhere, but right now you're here and now. Feel the breath and allow the breath to bring you back. to the present moment. If and when you draw this flow to completion, again, find a resting pose to simply observe for a couple moments, or continue to move in ways that feel good for you. If you're still flowing, take all the time you need. Wherever you go, feel the body, feel the breath. If you find yourself in a pausing moment, just check in, feel the mind, the head space, feel the body, and tune into your emotional well-being. Just observe yourself, your being. And if you'd like to proceed to the final flow of class, we will move on to some gentle back bends. So up to you whether you proceed or not. For the back bends, we will eventually meet up sitting up on our heels. So if you're in child's pose, you can simply walk the hands back towards you until you're sitting up on the heels. Once you get here, maybe you pause for a couple moments with the eyes closed. Again, you can take your time and meet up if you're still flowing. Take a couple big breaths. And once you're ready, follow an inhale to lift the hips up off the heels and stand up on the knees. So we're going to do some work in Ustrasana, Camel Pose. Step the knees out so they're directly under the hip points, and then curl your toes under behind you so the heels are lifted up. We're going to start with reach backs. So on your next inhale, hands reach forward in front of you. On the exhale, keeping the hips over the knees, can you reach back with the right hand? Maybe you touch that right heel, maybe it just reaches back. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, other side, left hand reaches back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, right goes back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, left reaches back. Keep those hips pressing forward. Inhale, up. One more each side. Exhale, reach the right hand back. Inhale, up. One more. Exhale, left hand goes back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, take a break and sit back. You can either keep the toes curled under or uncurl them and sit back on the heels. Pause for a couple moments, and when you pause, gently pull the low belly in towards the spine just to lengthen the low back slightly. Let's take 2 more big breaths here. 1 more. On your next inhale, make your way back up. Lift those hips, curl the toes under if they're not already. Exhale. Inhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to do some little dips back, really working on keeping the hips over the knees here. So once you exhale, follow your next inhale to reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, like you're trying to increase the space between your rib cage and the hip point. On the exhale, shift the shoulders back slightly, trying to keep the hips over the knees. Inhale, come back up. So we're using the core strength. Exhale. Inhale, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, tip it on back slightly. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, sit down. Hands can come to the thighs again. And again, low belly just gently pulls in towards the spine, lengthening the low back and the sacrum. Breathe to the low back as we rest here for a couple more breaths. One more big breath. Great. On your next inhale, come on up one more time. So from here, two options. You can grab around the hips with your fingertips coming in towards the midline of the body in the front, or you can press the heels of the hands into the low back with the fingertips pointing down towards the ground. Wherever you go, you're going to squeeze the elbows towards the midline along the back body rather than allowing them to splay outward. So you choose whichever hand position feels natural and good for your body. Moving into Camel Pose. On your next inhale, keep those toes curled under and reach the crown of the head up, just like we did. Elbows pull in towards the midline. On the exhale, begin to tip it back, this time pressing the heels of the hands or the thumbs into the low back. Your choice here. You can keep the chin tucked in like you're trying to hold a tennis ball between your chin and the neck, or you can allow the chin to lift and the head to drape backwards. We'll pause here for a couple more breaths. Keep squeezing the glutes and pressing the hips forward. Two more big breaths. Breathe deeply. One more. And on a very big inhale, gently bring yourself back up. And then exhale, slowly lower, sit back on the heels. Hands come back to the thighs. Again, once your back feels like it's beginning to neutralize, you can pull the low belly in towards the spine, just lengthening it a little bit more. Breathe deeply. And that, my friends, is the final flow of class. So let me recap for you real quick if you want to do those back bends one more time. So we started this flow with the camel reach backs. So we did 3 on each side, exhaling back, inhaling forward. You can do as many as you'd like. From there we paused and just found length in the low back, pulling the low belly in towards the spine. After that we came back up and did our kind of lower back. So the hands were at heart center. You inhale to reach the crown of the head up. Exhale to dip it back. Inhale to come on up. And then exhale there. We did 3 together, but again, you can do as many as you'd like. Afterwards, pause and rest the low back a little bit. From there, we moved into Camel Pose, Ustrasana. So you had the option to either hands on the hips with the fingertips curling around, or heels pressing into the low back, heels of the hands, elbows squeezed by the sides, and again, lean on back, how many breaths you'd like, and then come on out of it, sit on the heels. So again, you can play around with that flow, you can do all, none, or some of it. Whenever you complete the back bends, please fold forward to a nice child's pose, pause for a while, and or maybe make your way to a seated forward fold to really give yourself some low back relief. So take your time, explore that last flow if you'd like, or do whatever else you'd like to do. And then we'll meet up for the closing of class. So take your time, find what feels good for you right now. And as you flow, stay with the breath in the body. Sometimes, especially in Ustrasna, when we lean back, we tend to clench the jaw and breathe in a very shallow manner. So continue those deep breaths. Relax the jaw and only go to as deep as it feels good for you. Notice if you can slow down your breathing, taking fuller breaths, and in turn slowing down your movements, making them more conscious, allowing your mind to become more present. relax your jaw, soften your facial expression. Allow your mind to simply be in your body. Breathe deeply. Continue to feel your body in every shape that you make. Feel the breath as you breathe in these shapes. That's all you have to do right now. Let yourself be in your body, to become a witness of the body, of the mind, letting go of any sorts of judgments of how we think the body should feel and look in these poses, where the mind should be, and simply be with everything as it is. Find love for the way things are. This moment is perfect. Can you find its perfection? Again, whenever you find your way to completing all the back bends that you'd like to do tonight, eventually make your way to a child's pose and or a seated forward fold. Really take some time to breathe into the low back, to allow space to come to the low back, the sacrum area of your body. If you're still flowing, take your time, but please make sure you incorporate some sort of forward folding motion before moving to anything else. Simply allow your mind to observe the body after those poses and in whatever posture you're in right now. Let yourself feel the body. Feeling the breath and feeling the body is quite a different task than mentally thinking, from analyzing, from processing. Allow the awareness to sink to the body, to become attached to a present moment activity, and in turn, relax. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need. This is your practice, so honor your body. For our last posture of class tonight, I'd like to offer to you Viparita Karani. Now, this can be done at the wall or even next to a couch, so if you'd like to take a moment to realign your mat, either by a couch or a wall, feel free to do so. If you want to proceed with this posture just in the middle of the room, you can do so as well. So Viparita Karani is legs up the wall, so if you are next to a couch or a chair or a wall, you'll simply bring your hip next to the wall and then spin yourself down to lift the feet up and then rest them against the wall. So I'm not in it completely, but just showing you if you're on a couch or a chair, you can bend the knees and allow them to, the lower legs to simply rest on the couch or chair, Or I'm going to do it in the center of my mat so you can join me there. So if you want to realign your mat, feel free to do so. If you want to meet up for Viparita Karani simply in the center of your mat, you can do so as well, but just wanted to throw out those options there for you. So take your time. Again, if no need to go there if you don't want to, but if you want to meet up with me in the middle of the mat or by a wall, couch, or chair, feel free to do so. Again, if you're by a wall or a chair, just spin yourself around and kick those legs up. If you're in the middle of the room, lift the knees up so they're stacked over the hips. Maybe you pause here. If you want to go a little deeper, you'll lift the feet up and just pause at a point where it feels almost effortless to keep the feet lifted. This is a restorative posture, so if it feels like you're using a lot of energy to keep those feet up, then lower them to a point where it just feels restful. So knees can be bent, feet can be totally lifted, somewhere in between, but allow it to be something that uses minimal energy in your body. And we'll pause here for a couple breaths. Hands can be by the sides, they can rest on the belly, and gently draw your eyes closed. Wherever you're at, breathe deeply and send your breath all the way to the tippy toes. Relax the jaw and the shoulders. Let yourself simply feel the body. Viparita Karani is an amazing posture for renewed circulation and blood flow in the body. We have the ankles, over the knees, over the hips, which allows the blood to kind of sink down and pull towards the vital organs in the core. So if at some point you feel those tippy toes get light, that's okay. But when we eventually bring the legs and the feet back down, it allows for this renewed circulation within. So breathe into it. Allow yourself to simply enjoy the posture in whatever variation you choose. Continue to feel the breath ripple in and out of the body. If you'd like to stay in Viparita Karani for Shavasana, please feel free to do so. If you prefer to lay flat on your mat, then if you're by the wall or a chair or couch, just kind of inch yourself out and roll on over to your side and then make your way to your back body laying flat. If you're in the center of your mat, then you can eventually bend the knees, place the feet on the ground, and then slowly step the feet out. But take your time. If Viparita Karani feels great right now, then stay there as long as you'd like. If there's any other postures, shapes that you'd like to take before Shavasana as well, listen to your body and only meet up in Shavasana when you're ready. And once you make your way to your final resting pose, gently draw the eyes closed if they aren't already, and begin to rest the body down. Invite into your being a soft and easy state, and begin to relax your body, starting by softening the crown of your head. Relax your forehead, soften the eyebrows and the eyes. Relax your temples, your cheekbones, soften your jaw. Relax your lips and your teeth. Gently float the tongue down away from the roof of the mouth. Soften your ears. Relax the back of your head and the scalp. Soften the back of your neck, the sides, and the front, allowing your throat to open. Rest the shoulder blades towards the ground beneath you as you soften the upper arms and the elbows. Relax the lower arms and the wrists. Soften your hands, allowing the fingers to naturally curl inwards. Relax your chest and the space around your heart. Soften the rib cage and the belly. Relax the upper back. Soften the middle back. And relax the lower back, softening the spine towards the ground. Relax the hips, the glutes, the pelvic region. As you soften the upper legs and the knees, relax the lower legs and the ankles. Soften your feet, allowing every toe to get a little bit lighter. Notice if you're holding on anywhere else in your body and simply let go. Surrender your body towards the support of the ground beneath you, melting the body down. Allow this restful, this relaxed state to translate to your mind, softening the mind as though it's a muscle itself, letting it melt and fade away. Imagine as though you're in, yet again, a peaceful oasis, a tiny, secluded island that has everything you need: love, support, security, ultimate peace. Allow yourself to drift away, embodying a peaceful, soft, relaxed nature within and all around you. Only when you're ready, gently begin to invite the awareness back in towards your body. Maybe you deepen the breath or add subtle movements to the toes, the fingers, the wrists and ankles. Take your time. Eventually, gently roll over to either side and pause there to rest in a fetal position. Only when you are ready to move, gently press yourself all the way up to seated, keeping the eyes softly closed as you transition. And we'll eventually meet up with the eyes closed and palms touching at heart center. Take a couple of moments to consciously observe how you feel right now. Draw your awareness to your mind, to your head space, and notice how it feels. Observe the qualities, the texture of your mind. What's the first word that comes to you to describe the state of your mind right now? And gently draw your awareness towards your body, observing how it feels. What's the first word that comes to you to describe your body? And eventually tune into your emotional well-being. Notice how you feel right now. What's the first word that describes your energetic, your emotional being? And maybe you become aware of how you feel now in comparison to the beginning of our time together. And just notice, become aware. And gently give yourself a smile and really thank yourself for showing up here tonight, for dedicating your time to cultivating a beautiful state within and all around you. And thank you so very much for sharing your beautiful energy and practice with me and everybody else who tuned in here tonight. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.